Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, June 21st. So welcome to the summer solstice. Of course, we have the sun moving into Cancer energy midday, which means that we are closing the door on Gemini season, thankfully, and we are moving into Cancer season. If you haven't listened to the astro forecast that I put out for this event, I'm going to recommend you do so. If you haven't downloaded your Cancer season e-guide, I'm going to recommend you do that as well. The moon is in Leo energy all day, so we are kind of being positioned emotionally to be bold and brave and courageous. We are being encouraged to align with our heart space, to be real and raw and authentic, not only with what it is that we need to pursue in order for us to feel like we are, living our higher self timeline, but we are also being kind of positioned with the moon in Leo to be very expressive with our thoughts, with our emotions, with what it is that we need from other people and what it is that we want to do in moving forward. So there are 9 different aspects here today. 5 of them will involve the moon. The moon in Leo energy will be making a positive interaction with Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus energy. So what we can kind of gather from this is that we are recognizing, again, a little bit of a history lesson here. Uranus has been in Taurus energy for many years now. And the whole purpose, and again, Uranus is not happy in Taurus energy. Uranus wants change. Taurus energy is a fixed sign. We don't want to change. Uranus wants us to see the greater, grander picture of the highest form of our intellect, our highest form of our potential, while the Taurus energy wants to stick to what is tried, tested, and true. And so there is a lot of topics and themes that are being illuminated with this Uranus and Taurus energy. On the greater, grander global stage, this is about Mother Earth. This is about resources. This is about a change in our finances. This is a change in our spending, a change in the way that we feed ourselves, agriculture, that whole jam. In our individual lives, Uranus and Taurus energy is showing us where it is that we're overly attached to the physical circumstances that we've created for ourselves, no matter how uncomfortable they actually may be. And the whole purpose of Uranus being in this Taurus energy, making these aspects as we go through the different zodiac seasons and the different aspects that happen under that umbrella, is to show us where it is that we have to let go of the old in order for a new change to actually have a space to root in. And many of us have been resisting these types of energies, and this is why we're having major shakeups and wake-ups in our physical realms when it comes to our self-worth, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to money matters, when it comes to our long-term goals. So just remember that. Now, the moon interacting with Uranus is bringing a certain amount of clarity. A certain amount of clarity on what our heart is asking us to pursue, what our heart is asking us to change in our physical realm so that we can align with a more real, raw, authentic sense of self. This is a good vibe. However, it is going to mean making some major changes in our physical realm that the Taurus energy doesn't want us to make. Again, it's a fixed sign. It's resistant to change. So we are having an epiphany, if you will, an aha moment, a different change in perspective and hopefully eventually direction in order to let go of the physical attachments in our physical circumstances and environment that are blocking the opportunity for new change, new progress, new epiphanies, new circumstances to actually be built and made. So the sun currently still in this Gemini energy. This is the last aspect that the sun in Gemini is going to make, and it's not a great one. It is with Pluto, the great transformer himself. So let's talk about it. The sun in Gemini making this interaction with Pluto, who is retrograde in Capricorn energy, is going to intensify and complicate the decision-making process. Of course, we've been in Gemini season. The choice points that we've been offered have been very extreme, very polarized, very dualistic in nature. We've been trying to weigh the pros and cons. Many of us thinking we've already arrived at a decision. Let me just tell you, the decision that you thought that you've already arrived at will change multiple times as we move through Cancer season. Why is that? Because we're in a new chapter of karma. We're in a new chapter of our creation story. But go ahead, listen to the astro forecast. That will kind of take you down a little bit of a deeper path, a deeper trail, so that you can understand what Cancer energy is meaning for us to kind of adapt to as we move through all of those energies. So here, the sun in Gemini makes its last hurrah. It's at a 29 degree. It's at a critical crisis degree, which always makes our head feel like it's going to explode. Interacting with Pluto, the god of the underworld, who needs to take us on a very dark path down memory lane, if you will, for us to examine all of the power struggles that we've endured, all the times we've given our power away, all the constructs, structures, and foundations in our lives that we thought we broke away from back in March that now suddenly we're going back to. This is going to complicate the decision-making process. There is going to be multiple adjustments needed to the current path that you think that you're aligned with before you actually start moving forward and seeing this the progress and the productivity in creating something new. This is going to trigger a shift. Not only in energy, but in power. This is going to set us back. This is going to mean that we are going to feel temporarily not even out of our minds, but just out of control. Okay, we feel powerless. We feel like we need to make change. We feel like we should have made those changes yesterday. Now we don't have the power or control to make those changes. Now we just need to sit back, as hard as it may be, and let things take its course, which is a very hard thing to do. Does not feel good. This is going to be a lot of negative narratives, a lot of depressive thoughts, depressive emotions, a lot of power struggle, a lot of just funky stuff that we would rather not feel. Now, to add a little bit more fuel to that fire, we will have the moon in Leo energy make an interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who, as you know, is now retrograde in this Pisces energy. Go ahead, take in the listen to that astro forecast so that you understand what we'll be dealing with for the next 4.5 months. Now, this is definitely going to put the weight on our shoulders. We are feeling blocked. We are feeling restricted because of other people. We want to be out on our own. We want to be independent. We want to follow our heart. We want to follow our soul's mission, our soul's calling, our soul's purpose. But because of other people, whether it's the roles and responsibilities, the commitments, the obligations that we have to other people, whether it's other people's opinions or chatter or what we think other people want us to do, there's some kind of influence coming from the external realm that is preventing us from doing what is right for us, what we want, what we need, what we desire. This is really going to emphasize the intensity of our powerlessness, of our lack of control, of our, I'm going to say, non-ability to take action right now, and really kind of further solidify that the circumstances that we're in, we can't tolerate anymore. We don't want to experience anymore. This is the universe's way of showing us that you can't just be delusional. You can't just paint a picture in a color that you want it to be. You have to deal with real life here. And real life at the current circumstance absolutely sucks. It's hard. It's weighted. It doesn't feel like there's a way out. This is part and parcel of, again, the sun being at a critical 29th degree. It's also the ending of this last chapter. Again, when the sun moves into Cancer energy, that brings the summer solstice. That's when the karmic scales get reset. So we're feeling the funk, we're feeling darkness. The moon in Leo is going to get into the boxing ring and square off, fight it out with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings in this Taurus energy, trying to show us where it is that over the course of the next year, we have the ability to change our physical environments and circumstances and create a reality that not only looks good, but that feels good too, opens us up to new opportunities to not only level up in our money matters, but to level up into healthy and happy relationships that are meant for us instead of staying in the relationship dynamics that were built off of fear-based trauma patterns. Now, the moon and Jupiter getting into the boxing ring is going to turn the level up on the intensity that we're feeling. And the intensity that we're currently feeling doesn't feel good. So expect to really have some power struggles within yourself. Understand where it is that you're going to have the impulse to make a major change, to take major action, where it is that you're being blocked from doing that, either by your inability to actually believe that what's on the other side of the fence could be better for you, your inability to believe into yourself, that you have the ability to create something, a realm of reality that is better suited to your soul's purpose than your ego's purpose. And basically, this is about whether or not you actually believe that you have what it takes to be aligned with your heart space and to honor your soul's mission and your soul's purpose. This is going to bring a huge magnification on where it is that you're putting other people's thoughts, opinions, other people's happiness ahead of your own. And again, doesn't feel good. 10:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the sun will shift into Cancer energy, triggering the summer solstice. Again, please go listen to the astro forecast, download the Cancer season e-guide. This is going to totally shift the dynamic. All the things that we were stuck in the mental plane about, we're now bringing down into our heart space. It is going to be a very emotional, super hypersensitive time for the next month. We have to unpack a lot of the things that made logical, practical sense within an emotional and intuitive perspective in order to actually arrive at the decision that we need to arrive at in order to start building a brand new foundation structure in our physical realms that will feel safe and secure and supported by our higher selves. So Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, just got dethroned because we're not in Gemini season anymore. He does not have his crown on his head anymore as far as the rulership goes over the season. The moon is now in her rulership over Cancer season. But Mercury is still in his place of power in Gemini energy. And Mercury is going to sextile, which is a beautiful energy, with Mars. Mars, of course, being the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire. In Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, is trying to get us real and raw and authentic to what makes us happy, what we're passionate about, what we need to exert ourselves and take action on in order to bring our passions, our inspirations, our desires into fruition. The sextile means that we're blending these energies together. So somewhere we're getting an aha moment. We're getting I'm going to say, a little bit of clarity. We're getting a good idea on where it is that we need to push ourselves forward. There is a new level of fire energy, new excitement, new enthusiasm. There is this want, need, and desire to express ourselves. There's this want, need, and desire to really jump into exploring new ideas, new avenues, new projects. There's all of that vibe, and we want to run with that because it's not going to last for very long. The moon then interacts with Neptune. Neptune, of course, in its place of power in Pisces energy. This is going to download us with new intuition, new insight on what it is that we're actually being inspired and motivated to pursue. This is where new creative ideas flow in, where new visions flow in. This is where we are aligning with our heart space, again, Moon and Leo, with the vision, the dream that we now believe is actually possible if we were to just honor our heart space and not let the chitter chatter of outside influences sway us one way or the other. Now, Mercury is going to sextile with Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries energy. And what this is going to do is it's going to open us up to realizing what it is that we need to learn, what it is that we need to explore, what it is that we need to research, all in the attempt of breaking away from the old in order to initiate something new, where new ideas, new passion projects, new paths, new directions are concerned. Now, this is definitely going to make us a little bit hypersensitive. We are going to be on alert. We want to make sure that that edginess doesn't manifest as restlessness and anxiety, but we want to be aware. And there is a building in our passion, a building in our enthusiasm, a building in our emotions due to the shift that we just went through. Of course, the summer solstice shines a bright light on new paths, new interests, new discoveries anyways. But having Chiron here, he is opening us up to seeing where the problems actually are so that we can essentially get to problem solving on how it is that we're going to bust away from some of these issues, some of these problems, where it is that we have to grow, where it is that we have to make some progress. And of course, it may mean opening up our minds to different ideas, different decisions, different choices, different ways of going about things in order to actually manifest a new path of moving forward. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Leo energy, coming up to, bumping into, sitting next to Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, sitting in this Leo energy, in the heart and soul of things. And just so that you're aware, a little bit of a reminder, she will be going retrograde at 28 degrees in this Leo energy. So pay attention to your heart space. Pay attention to who and what is being illuminated to you in your life that is either helping the cause, helping you to feel safe and secure, helping you to feel worthy, helping you to feel happy and joyful, or not. And of course, if you're on the other side of realizing where who and what are not helping for all of these things, then these are the people and the constructs and the elements and the topics and themes that will get removed when Venus goes retrograde. Anywho, the moon conjuncting with Venus is definitely putting us in touch with our heart space, with what it is that we want, we need, we desire as an individual. When it comes to our day-to-day lives, where it comes to the routines that we have in our lives, when it comes to the relationships that we have in our lives, with our money matters, with our creative energy, with what it is that we're doing to make money, with our resources, basically, we are trying to get in alignment with our heart space. But the lives that we've currently built were not based off of our higher selves. They were based off of ego. So anything that is a power struggle, anything that doesn't feel good, anything that seemingly is falling apart or being dismantled is due to the fact that those constructs were built based off of ego. We need to clear the space out right now, clean the slate, if you will, in order to have our higher self step in and start building a reality that is in alignment with our soul's mission, our soul's purpose. This is going to be a revelation of the heart, a change in heart. This is going to be a new fire, a new passion, a new excitement, a new inspiration on what it is that our heart needs us to do. Whether it means kicking people to the curb or closing the door on certain chapters or leaving that job or downsizing your home or getting rid of those physical attachments in order to create the space in order for something new to be birthed in its place, or recognizing what it is that we want to pursue. But just a heads up, many of us right now, we don't have the clarity as far as the path, the plan moving forward goes. Many of us are still in a situation of cutting things off and clearing things out, still very much in the purging situation. And it's going to be a very hard thing to do in Cancer season, because Cancer season, typically speaking, has us very nostalgic, romanticizing the past to basically convince ourselves that change isn't needed, that we're okay to stay where it is that we're at, even though we're not. It's basically trying to convince ourselves to settle. And in that, the Cancer energy has us very attached to the old, to old traditions, the old ways of being, the old ways of life, the old version of self. But our heart space is going through its own evolution. And so there is going to be a dramatic polarization throughout Cancer season on where it is that our heart is asking us to let go of certain things when, physically speaking, we just can't bring ourselves to do it.